Today I would like to invite you to my home. I will show you how I live among fish tanks, how my office/fish room looks like, and how all my tanks are doing. Around 18 months ago I made a similar video for the first time, but since then a lot have changed. So I want to update my regular viewers on how my room looks like and show my new viewers what's possible in small and simple office room. And on top of this, I think that I can address some of the doubts you might have about having multiple aquariums or even building your own fish room. Let's get started. Before we dig into details, small introduction from my side. My name is Matt, and I don't consider myself to be a YouTuber. I'm just a fish keeper, and I happen to make videos about my passion. This is why I usually don't make very long videos focused on profit. This is not my job. I'm really free to do and say whatever I want. I just want to promote this wonderful hobby, share my experience, answer a few questions, and show you how I built my tanks. So you can steal some ideas, get some inspiration, or maybe learn from my mistakes. I talk about this because I want to show you that you can have something like that in your house. If you're worried that having multiple tanks always means huge mess, a room full of hoses, buckets and water everywhere. No, it doesn't. It can look nice, clean and relaxing. This room is also my office. This is where I work, so it needs to be presentable. It cannot be loud and messy. And this is also where in my free time I create my aquariums that you can see on my channel. Okay, but I promised you a tour, so let's get to it. We will start from that wall and quickly discuss one tank after the other. And at the end we will have a small quiz, so you can let me know which one you like best. Let's start from this one. This is my new version of Cory Heaven. I did a similar tank in the past, but this time I wanted to create something even more suitable for cories. And I ended up with great looking minimalistic tank designed specifically to breed cories in natural way. By natural, I mean I want them to breed just in a normal planted tank with substrate and some hardscape. Not in sad empty tank focus on maximizing the numbers. I want to focus on the quality and well-being of the fish, their natural behaviors and processes. I'm a big fan of Corydoras. I kept many different types and successfully bred like 7 different species. But never those guys, so I wanted to give it a try. So, of course, they do everything apart from breeding. I guess it's still early and maybe they need more time in here. But I still really like that tank and I absolutely love those fish. Now let's move to the one next to it. I call this one a challenge or sometimes a nightmare tank. And oh boy, does it deserve its name. I call it like that because it had a very difficult start, including huge algae infestation, fish disease, lack of maintenance from my side, pretty much everything. But you know what? That's okay, because I used all of that as an opportunity to learn, observe, and maybe even teach you something. And in the end, I ended up with a very cool looking and natural tank. I'm planning a video dedicated to it, so if you're wondering how something like this can change into something like that, consider subscribing to not miss that one. It's a great comeback story that will teach you to never give up. Next one is definitely one of my favorites, and you can understand why. Amazing colors, very high growth speed, CO2, very bright light that makes the recording very difficult. But overall, very successful tank for me. I call it a recreation tank because I created something very similar around 3 years ago, and I was wondering if it's possible to create it again. Right now it's in a desperate need for some trimming, But I also want to document that process and show you how I maintain this tank and how to shape and trim dense stem plants. So you can expect some updates about this tank on the channel. Yes, in general this one is a big success, unlike the next one. Maybe it is a little bit unfair to call it like that, but that tank really never reached its full potential. I mean, it's not ugly, it's just not what I imagined when I was creating it. It's just very, I don't know, common, boring, empty. I cannot exactly express what's wrong with it, but it kind of lacks its own identity, if you know what I mean. You probably don't because I'm talking nonsense. But I'm still not hiding it from you. We all fail sometimes, and I think I just have to start over with that one. I already have a new idea what to do here, so it's going to be fine. Now let's move to this little jungle. I just love that tank. I really do. It's because it was supposed to be just an experiment and proof that this method of handling crypts really works. And it does. But now the experiment is over and I cannot force myself to take it down. It still works great, looks good, and it's super healthy for my shrimp. It's definitely overgrown a bit, it's like a nano jungle, but for me, it's what makes it great. I have zero problems with it. Maintenance? Simply not necessary. This is a great example of zero involvement tank that runs on autopilot, and I'm keeping it. And now we are moving back to the beginning of the shelf. This is my kindergarten tank. It looks very dark on the video, but in reality it's much brighter. This is the tank where I keep all my fry that I didn't give away yet. I breed a lot of different types of fish and very often have a lot of babies in this room. Here I have few small platies, some cories, and even a few plecos. When I'm done with raising my fry, I move them to bigger tanks, not to compromise their growth and development. This is why they ended up here. It's not an aquascape, and I'm not planning to keep it in the long run. But I'm not hiding it from you either. I just took few random things from my storage and created this because I really don't like keeping fish in empty tanks. Right next to it is my Bucephalandra wall tank. This is a very beautiful tank that also serves a very important purpose. It's because in this tank I placed my Bus and Anubias that I propagated myself. Many of you were asking what happens with those plants once I put them underwater. And this is the answer. This tank is already 7 months old. And those plants are not melting. They are still growing, they are still healthy and really beautiful. And check how clean this is. After 7 months and almost no maintenance. What I don't like is the fact that the video about this tank was really unpopular. I don't know why, but when it comes to views, I really think it could and should do better. I mentioned this only because I wanted people to see how those plants propagated with that method are doing. So it's a shame that almost nobody saw that. But anyway, I really enjoy this tank and I think it's one of my best looking ones. Now let's jump to the other side of the room. Here is where I keep my Reef tank. Setting up this tank was such a challenge and a unique lesson for me. But I absolutely loved every second of it. This is such a rewarding project and I'm very proud of that. Especially because this is the first and only Reef tank I have ever made. And the fact that everything is still alive, doing well and growing means a lot to me. I can see corals splitting, eating, there is a lot of movement everywhere. Fish, snails, crab are all doing great. And I have no issues of any kind. There is no algae, no pests, no major problems. Recently I uploaded full build video where I explain every detail on how I built it and how I maintain it. So check it if you are interested. I really made it beginner friendly because with reef tanks, this is who I am. A total newbie. Now let's talk about an elephant in the room. My Piranha tank. This is the most recent addition to my room. I wanted to keep red belly piranhas since I was a child, but I never wanted to keep them in the tank that was not good enough. But now, after some changes in my fish room, I finally was able to give them a proper tank. At least until the time they will be too big for it. And I have to say, those fish are really something else. They are so wild, so aggressive, and so cool. I definitely spent too much time observing this tank, but I just cannot help it. And feeding them is such an event, every time. Unfortunately, they are growing much faster than I expected, and I'm afraid I will have to move them very quickly. And I wish I could keep them much longer, but well-being of those fish is the priority. Once I will see that this tank is getting too small, I will have to make some changes. And finally, the only tank that I keep outside of my fish room. This is a display tank in my living room that I've created way over a year ago. And it still looks absolutely fantastic, even after all this time. It's wild, green, very natural, and incredibly clean. But what is really special about it is the fact that I almost don't do anything to keep it like that. It's almost completely maintenance free. Plants are thriving and growing like crazy, even though most of them are slow growing plants like anubias and ferns. They have a great colors, there are no signs of deficiencies, it just looks like an underwater jungle. I was thinking many times to rescape it, but this is again one of the tanks that I like too much, and I don't want to destroy it. I know that there will be time to do it, but I simply enjoy it too much for now. And we are back in the fish room. As I said at the beginning, I hope I was able to show you that having multiple aquariums is not that scary, and it really doesn't cause constant mess or smell. And I hope that this video was enjoyable to you. If it was, please hit the like button. So, this is my life. I live among fish tanks and plants. They give me peace, bring a lot of joy, and allow me to share my experience with all of you. And now, let us have a vote and see which tank you like the most. You can type the name or number in the comments. I'm very curious to find out. For now, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.